Welcome, Holiday Time viewers. Judy Shields here. Today, we are honored to have the president and CEO of, is it Eardoor?
Yes, good enough.
Hey, Eardoor Inc. and Rodri Entertainment, international entertainment production company. She is the producer and curator of MARIACHI USA, a cornerstone celebration of mariachi music and culture in the United States, which takes place at the Hollywood Bowl Saturday, June 8th. Hi there, Rodri. How are you?
I'm good, Judy.
I
Busy
love
working,
that name.
nursing. Thank you. And Erdor, the name of the company is just Rodri backwards. It's
See?
sort of like Harpo, Oprah, Erdor, Rodri, except I did it before she did.
Yes, one intelligent woman there. Way to go. Well, there you go. Spelled it backwards. So
Thank you for
cool.
having me on. Thank you. I know that you're busy and I know you have many choices, and thank you for making me your choice today because we are celebrating an iconic celebration at an iconic amphitheater. We are the longest running annual show at the Hollywood Bowl, and the longest running Latino paid show in the United States. So we're celebrating many iconic years entertaining our community, and the celebration goes to our fans. We are here because and for them.
It's amazing to hear. It's one thing that you're in a Mexican restaurant, the mariachis are playing, you go, but to hear them all with the variety of the groups that you have at the Hollywood Bowl, there's like no other place other than, I guess, going to Mexico.
And not even Judy, because you have the likes of, three-time Grammy Award winners. They've been nominated 11 times. Mariachi Divas, they're celebrating 25 years of a career. And so in honor of that, they will have 25 musicians in their group playing the Hollywood Bowl stage, which in and of itself is just a wow moment. And then Mariachi Campanas de America, 15 members traveling from San Antonio. They're one of the most, well, I shouldn't say the longest established groups in the United States. And then Mariachi Los Camperos of Naticano, who launched the whole mariachi movement with Linda Ronstadt's tour of Canciones de Mi Padre. And then Mariachi Cobre, originally from Arizona, Los Changuitos Feo. They are the resident mariachi at Epcot Center, home of Disney. And last but not least, Mariachi Los Reyes, an LA favorite. They own two restaurants, one in Montebello and one in Tustin. And he has two groups now to fulfill the need for those shows. So you're looking at, world-class groups, and like Los Reyes is 17 musicians. The other ones are 13, 15. So you don't just have a trio or four or five musicians that, affordably so, that's all you can really do in a restaurant. But there you are seeing symphonic mariachi at its very, very best. And then Mi Tierra Ballet to throw that colorful accent. And ballet is such a beautiful art in and of itself. And then fireworks, if you can imagine 17,600 people singing to El Rey Volver and La Negra. I mean, I'm not jaded. I love it. I get chills every time I even think about what goes on that stage.
Oh man, I know, like 35 years. I mean, like, t tell us, what was your inspiration, like, for putting this together all those years ago?
Our community, the people of Los Angeles, whether you're Mexican, Mexican American, a non-Mexican Latino, you go to Mexico on vacation, you love drinking margaritas, you learn to sing phonetically because you love the language. Those are all our audience. More so the 5 generations deep of the traditions of family pride and tradition of Mexico Americanos that brought the music here. Our groups very much are about Mariachi USA, because for me it was to create a name that paid tribute to those that worked and lived here, those that go to your home, to when your child is born and to be baptized, and then birthdays. Every birthday there is mariachi in the backyard. Father's Day, not Mother's Day. Mother's Day, they take the mom to the restaurant. It's
Yeah,
like, no, it's not cooking. That's the only time of the year anybody takes anybody, mother to a restaurant is on Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Father's Day, the barbecue, buscan el mariachi. And then again, when you get engaged, when you get married, when you get divorced, comadres party, anniversaries, and then ultimately when you pass, at your burial, who takes you there is the mariachi music. The very
Oh,
group that brought you into the world is now giving you a send-off. So unlike any other music genre, mariachi is in your face and in your home, like beans on rice. And they are a part of the family. And that's what makes this music genre so unique. It's acoustic instruments, and they have a built-in microphone in their throats, I swear to God. Vocal cords like no other. I mean, who can be out in the cemetery and singing as if you were in an opera house? And they have that. They have done a study, by the way, on vocal cords of a mariachi, and they are built very differently.
Really?
We'd have to do a whole show on that, but
We will.
it's I have a lot of shows for you, Judy.
All right. I met my match now.
Absolutely. Let's get into trouble.
Yes.
Uh, so, and again, it's because I love the magic that each instrument brings, an acoustic show, very
Yeah.
much like Philharmonic. You don't need all the flashy lasers and the drones and then I don't know what, and bring in the special effects, and you feel like you're in the desert, and then they switch you out to outer space. And I want our audience to get what they came for. They came
Yes.
to get wowed by mariachi music, by the acoustic magic of those instruments, and by the voices, the trios, the quartet, that magical je ne sais quoi of mariachi DNA is what I like to call it, Judy. You
Yeah.
feel it. You don't know what it is. You gotta know what it is, but it just does this thing to me. Well, it's mariachi DNA. You don't have to be Mexican to have it or to own it. It just crawls
Right.
into you every time you hear a mariachi song.
So true. So how old were you when you first heard mariachis for the first time? You remember?
Um, I had to have been around 7 when I came from Cuba. I
Okay.
uh, I was in a foster home for 7 years in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was part of Operación Pedro Pan, which was the largest exodus to North America of
Oh,
migrant children from Cuba in this case, and
wow.
1% of the kids were 10 years old or younger, and I had just turned 7.
Wow.
So after being in a refugee camp for a few months, my parents couldn't get out. They were very poor, so the government didn't want anything from them. They couldn't take anything from them except their spirit, which they never did.
Oh,
And they sent me ahead, hoping that they would be coming out in 3 months. 7 years later, they finally arrived to the United States and came directly to Los Angeles. And I, of course, from Albuquerque, flew here to meet them. And then that's it. I became an LA girl, true and true, a Cuban with a Mexican soul.
that's a great story. Oh,
Thank you. It's my story. You well know we all have a story to tell, and it's just a matter of getting it told. And thank you for allowing this story to be told.
yeah. Have you written a book about your adventure and your story?
It's in the works. I write things and then I go back and I read it and I say, who's that? Who wrote that? Whose life is that? It's just that it seems I step back from it and it seems that I lived very deeply and very emotionally charged as a child.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like now you begin to heal all of the pieces that get damaged in your childhood and all the fragmentation that occurs because of all these separations and all these things that happen to you as a child. And then hopefully the universe gives you an opportunity to heal. And in that process of healing for me is I'm not healing so that I can manage pain better. I'm healing so that I can love more,
Yes.
because that's what healing and taking all this, the stuff that gets placed there by other people's habits, through their abuse of you or whatever it may be.
Yes.
I can love better. I can produce better. I can reach my audiences better. And I can do what they pay me to do, which is to entertain and make them feel.
Oh, it would be an amazing book, and we will have you back on when you come out with it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, what's the significance of the mariachi music in contemporary society and its role in the culture identity?
It goes back to pure entertainment, but it's also storytelling. And if you look at mariachi dating back to the 1800s, as well as we're doing a tribute to the Mexican cowboy, which was the original cowboy. People think the cowboy was born out of Texas. Well, Texas was Mexico, just like Arizona and California.
Yeah.
Setting that aside, the vaquero was born, the genesis of cowboy was in Mexico. And so we're doing a tribute to the vaquero with a very fun number.
Oh,
And just reminding people, next time you put on that pair of cowboy boots and your cowboy hat, it's yet another fabulous cultural gift that Mexico gave to us that not a lot of people recognize. And it's important because there's a bit of, the pride that goes into that. That's where cowboys came from.
I have to tell you folks, it's Saturday, June 8th, and you've got to go. I'm so heartbroken that I'm not going to be able to attend this one. I'm going to be in Nashville, of all places,
Ooh,
covering the
the capital of
CMA Fest.
music.
Yeah,
Woo!
so I'll be there. But one of my best friends that works with me, coworkers, she's going to be there at the Hollywood Bowl. So I'll make sure she writes up something nice to talk
Thank you,
about.
Judy. And the fabulous thing about the bowl is that you can bring in your own picnic. And since the inception of Mariachi USA, I really motivated the bowl food people
Nice.
to bring in, Mexican food feel. And so they have barbecues now with carne asada to make tacos, and they have their guacamole and chips. And of course, they sell the beer, wine, and champagne there.
Yeah.
You cannot bring in alcohol to our event, but you can certainly buy it there. You can bring in sodas, water. You can, bring in your own picnic, whatever you want. So it makes for a full day. People start getting there at 1, 2 o'clock. We have a DJ in the plaza. Our vendors are sampling. There's games going on. So it's an entire activity that it can last up to 12 hours. But
So
the
tell,
show,
uh-huh.
I start sharp at 6. So if you're
Yeah.
not in your seat, you're going to miss a hell of a beginning show. And we end at approximately 10:40, 10:45.
So tell our viewers out there who have never been there to see the mariachis what to expect, like when they walk in the door. Give it to us.
It's indescribable. It truly is. You really have to live it. And we didn't say where people can get their tickets, and go to mariachiusa.com.
Okay.
But it's nonstop. We use a turntable. So from the second that first group hits the stage until that very last note is played, I MC it, and I'm no nonsense at MCing. There's no chit chat promoting my latest movie or telling a funny joke. I think probably the most activity I have is I change dresses a lot of times, my costumes. So people are always telling me, turn around, turn around. So that's the extent of activity because I like to give people what they came there for.
Oh,
Great mariachi music. And the turntable affords us to do that. A group finishes, they take their bow, next group is on. So there's no downtime except for our halftime jam, and we get people up and dancing. We play the latest combination of cumbias and
oh.
reggaeton and norteño. Everybody's up and dancing, and then we settle in to the second part of the show, ending with El Rey Volver and La Negra with fireworks. Singing, everybody's singing along. Nobody sits down in that finale.
Awesome. I know you probably have many, but what's your favorite mariachi song?
I am a devotee hardcore of Jose Alfredo Jimenez, who wrote El Rey. And that man, he wrote all his songs on napkins in restaurants with his tequila. His bottle of tequila was his best friend. And his amazing interpretations as well. He was actor, a performer, and a poet. So all of his songs, Juan Gabriel's songs also moved me. Tomás Méndez, um, Pedro Infante, who also was an excellent actor, and Jorge Negrete, who was more on the operatic side, Lucha Villa, Lucha Reyes, who was the very first, actually, she is credited with adding trumpets to the mariachi. She was an
Really?
opera singer. She went to Germany, caught pneumonia, lost her opera voice, came back to Mexico, 2 octaves lower, and didn't know what to do. And she started singing mariachi. So she took the mariachi out of the cantinas and put them in the theater where she performed and sat them in front of the stage on chairs. And there's a movie actually that shows that, and photos as well, in the 1920s, black and white film era. It was it was just moving to see that yet, a woman again was putting mariachi at the forefront even back then.
I used to work for Disneyland back in the early 2000s, and we used to like go over there to California Adventures to watch the female mariachi girls play. Oh, and that was such an amazing thing to hear and watch them because they were just so into the moment and their instruments. So do you have a lot of female players this show?
Well, I was concerned that we didn't have any female groups back when I started the show, because of course, being the activist Latina that I have always been, I wanted to have women on that stage.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it. So I took women from the male groups, violinist, the trumpet, this, the that. They were all in different trajes,
Yeah.
different costume, obviously, because it was just a put together group. And we had 17 women and directed by Laura Sobrino, who was one of the very first Mexican American mariachis here in the United States. And they brought the house down. And after that, a couple of years later, Mariachi Reina de Los Angeles was put together by Jose Hernandez of Sol de Mexico, who also has a very popular restaurant in Orange County, El Sol. And after that, it was like the sky's the limit, ladies. There isn't anything you can't do now. And now I started a foundation probably 34 years ago, and the ratio of female students to male is now 4-1. So much so that Garfield High School started their first all-female student mariachi group.
Wow.
And there are more female mariachis mushrooming all over the United States than ever before. So that, of course, makes my heart beat a couple of
Yes.
extra beats.
That's amazing because they are so talented in their voices. It's thank you for that.
And beyond that, Judy, they
Yeah.
are entrepreneurial. They not only perform, and their beauty is exemplary, their dedication to business also.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
it is a business. Owning a mariachi is a business. And they've learned about copywriting music and publishing
Oh,
rights and, contractual agreements. And it's a business unto itself, which reflects, the fastest growing segment of business in California and even in the United States is Latina driven. So it's good to see it reflected in mariachi music as well.
wow, that's good to know. Well, like country music back in the day, they all wore those great costumes and that came from, I think the name was Nudie suits. Do they have someone that creates their costumes that you're aware of?
Yes, they do. And the costumes mostly are done in Mexico. So you order them
Yeah.
6 months in advance, and everyone wants to show off brand new costumes. This is where they
Yeah.
launch their new costumes at Mariachi USA. So it's
Oh,
like, okay, what color are you doing this year? And then, Rodri, what do you think if we do this, if we do that? And it excites me because they're excited about what they're going to present because they're stimulated by our audiences. Our audiences, Judy, if you're not there, you have no idea what we're
yeah.
talking about.
I know. It's an amazing show. Everybody should go to at least once, and then you'll keep going because once you go, you can't not go back again. Like I said, I'm gonna miss it. Gonna miss it. Rodri, I saw some animal walking around your chair behind you.
Oh, yes, babies are back there. I have
Oh,
Achi named for Mariachi, born on September 16th, Mexican independence. I'm Cuban, by the way.
yeah.
I think I mentioned that earlier. And then
Yeah.
I've got Puma, which is it means bear in Japanese.
Oh.
And then Mia, who is a healing dog, very appropriate in my lifetime. She's a platinum blonde like me. So they keep me on my toes. That's 3 mouth to feeds and braces and college education and
That's a good one. Oh, but they just give us a love that, we don't always get from our humans.
yes, and it truly is unconditional,
It is.
no matter what, no matter what. And people say dogs don't have a memory, they don't remember. That is total and absolute BS
Yes.
because my dogs know that I am coming back when I leave them. If I go to the grocery store, I go out on errands or whatever it is,
Yeah.
they know we're
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say, what took you so long? But they know we're coming back.
It's like hats off to the people who wrote that movie about pets. Because you watch that animated movie and you know that's exactly what your dog, cat, birds are doing while
Is
you're gone.
thinking, yes, absolutely.
I love that. It made me look a little bit different at my dogs after seeing that movie. Oh my gosh. Hey, let's talk about your nonprofit organization, Mariachi USA Foundation.
It's volunteer run. No one makes a cent. And up until now, I, with a few little bits and pieces of assistant here, have been funding it. But it's grown by leaps and bounds and in need more than anything else. And um, we will begin a fundraising effort soon. but all of our students with their parents attend Mariachi USA. So we have over 600 students that attend Mariachi USA, many of whom wouldn't otherwise get to go to the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh,
It's an amazing experience
oh, it
for
sounds
them.
like it. Yeah.
And we're short of instruments
Oh,
and
you are?
instruction. Yes. And it's so hard for a musician not to own an instrument that they can
Oh,
rehearse with, because you have to practice, to aspire to that excellence. And our kids, all they want to do is practice. But when you share your instrument with 4 or 5 other kids and you have to sign it out,
oh,
that's very challenging. Or
yeah,
you're working with an inferior, very difficult to tune instrument. That's very unfair to a new young musician who, can't hear, can't tune properly because
yeah.
they have an inferior instrument. So pretty soon, and I'm going to come tapping on your door and see if we can get the word out to help us fundraise for an excellent cause, because we strongly believe at Mariachi USA Foundation that music makes kids smart.
Well, what's the social media so we can put that out so we can, get you some donations going?
That's one of the things that we're building up now.
Okay,
I'm
building one up.
decided it's time to go more public and
Got it.
not keep it so hidden. Sometimes you do things sort of just as your contribution, your own personal contribution, but
Yes.
then it grows beyond you, and that's where we're at right now. We're starting to need
Oh,
that help.
well, definitely. We know a lot of music people. I got in touch with a lot of music people. So when you get ready, NAM, I met a lot of people at NAM. We bet you we get you a lot of instruments. So keep us in mind and we'll do
Thank
the
you,
best that we
Judy. Thank
can to
you.
help.
Grateful, very
Yeah.
grateful.
Get you some volunteers and whatever else we need, because it's the fact that they
Woohoo!
don't have music in schools and they're starting to bring it back. It breaks my heart, not to have that for children who want to try, and have
Judy, I want to send a bravo out to LAUSD because they created last year Cultural Passport, and they gave many schools, not all schools, but many schools, they gave them money so that they could have field trips to cultural venues. And so we have about 8 or 9 LAUSD schools that purchased tickets to Mariachi USA. We had 4 last year and they loved it. They came back and more schools came back, and LAUSD funding was able to make that happen. So bravo for seeing the light and understanding what music does to kids. So
Yeah.
we get to entertain them. Imagine what an experience for these kids. It's the first time going to the Hollywood Bowl and their first time at Mariachi USA. So, sometimes you just have to be patient and keep at it and keep at it until the right person gets into that position of power and starts making decisions that benefit our entire community. Because when our kids are smart, they're going to be smart for the entire community.
Yeah, and let's get them when they're young and they're full of energy and want to learn things, because
Absolutely.
their brain is ready to go. And it's like, stop taking it away from the kids. You know.
Indeed.
I also read here that you are among 25 entrepreneurs who in 2006 became founding shareholders of Pro America Bank. That sounds pretty cool. And that, how did this come your way?
Oh, well, being involved in the community. During the Bradley administration, I was Cultural Affairs Commissioner. And that there's another whole show on that and what our commission did. But we were very much involved in progressive architecture for our city. We got to approve everything that was built on our over city property. So a lot of the fabulous structures that you see were approved by our commission, and we challenged architectural firms to come back, with more visionary designs, which they did. They had no choice, or else we would just keep saying, no, this isn't getting built. And we used our power for the good of our community, which is what mayors are supposed to do with their commissioners, to put people to represent the community at his pleasure, which Bradley appointed me at his pleasure, which I wasn't always his pleasure because I always went toe to toe with him on what our community was worthy of.
Yeah.
But he was our #1 fan. He was at Mariachi USA that very first year, declared Mariachi USA Day. And every year thereafter, Judy, except when he had his heart attack,
Oh,
he missed 1 year. He would always put on his white guayabera and he
really?
was there. Yes, he would buy his own ticket. He'd be invited by a good friend. He was there in the second, third row. He loved mariachi.
Oh,
But I learned during that period of serving our city that we may be segmented because somehow this group of people ended up, propagating it here and that, you're talking about East LA and this part and that part, and where the Armenians live and where the Cubans live and whatever. But it's our city and we're responsible for acculturating it and for entertaining it and educating it. So we need to do what is best for all of our citizens, not just, pick whatever is convenient for whatever political purpose is being served at the time. So
Yeah.
that's a big responsibility that our youth take on. That's why it's important that they have the smarts to see beyond their immediate community and to see the well-being for all of our members.
Yes. So going forward, you only got like a week or so to go. How is your life right now getting ready? See? I knew that
Well,
get Nadia.
between my director flies in this Friday. We have a podcast Monday night on our Facebook page, Mariachi USA, and we have rehearsals. I have costume fittings, dance rehearsals, and then dancers with the groups and more interviews, and it just goes on. And I love every second of it. I get withdrawals. As soon as that last note is played on the stage, we start working on next year's show. But I have instant withdrawals because
Yeah.
we're so involved. We talk to so many people. We sell 12,000, 15,000 of the tickets that we sell at the Hollywood Bowl. It's our database, but it's our fans who tell us what's going on in their family. They're so involving in why they go to Mariachi USA and what's special this year for them at Mariachi USA. So it's a very unique relationship that no other concert producer has with their audience. And it's a moment of grace for me and a moment of sacredness to be able
Oh,
to be in front of an audience like that.
yeah. Well, I know 2020 during COVID wasn't a good time for people. What did you do since things were closed? What was it
We
like
did
for
a
you?
virtual show.
You did?
Yes, and that's why we didn't skip a beat. Thanks to Verizon. They said, "No way you're going to skip." No. And I said,
I
"Well,
saw
we can't
that.
afford to do this and that." They said, "We're there. What do you need?" And I said, "Well, we've got to pay some studios and this and that to have groups in New York and Vegas and in Texas and California and Florida." And we were able to do this show. It was fabulous. It was a virtual show and people loved it. So no,
Oh,
we didn't skip a beat. We kept going.
wow. I wish I knew that. Amazing.
It's
Good for you.
living there somewhere. I think it's on YouTube.
Oh,
I think
everything's on YouTube, I guess, right? We'll have to check it out.
yeah, including what you had for dinner last night.
If you put it up there, it is.
I'm not one of those,
Good.
ironically enough. I've learned I'm
Yeah.
very personal in my personal life. I'm very private.
Yeah.
Uh, but there's things that people want to know. And, once you step on a stage, you've given up your certain degree of privacy. But our audiences respect that. And I respect back, their privacy because I am privy to their information as well. So
Great.
unless you want it known, it's like, no, we hold that sacred here.
Well, give everyone your social media so we can track you.
Mariachi USA,
Okay.
if you want to track our show. And then I'm Rodri, Rodri, Rodriguez with a Z. And I also have Rodri J Rodriguez. But I put interesting things up there every once in a while, things that I
Great.
think are going to be fun and motivate, and certainly not boring by any means.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here at the Hollywood Times. We will be putting this up on our YouTube channel, which is the Hollywood Times official. So we appreciate you and
Thank
have an
you.
amazing show because I know it will be in, and we'll make sure I'm there next year for sure.
When you get back, let's go and enjoy a margarita somewhere with a
Sounds
super
good. I
mariachi.
so far look forward to it. Love to
We'll
meet you
go,
in person.
we can go to Montebello to Mariachi Los Reyes restaurant and listen
Nice.
to them perform. So definitely, let's do
Oh,
that.
I would love to be able to experience that with you. That would be amazing. I
Great.
appreciate that invite and I will accept it.
You're on. You're on.
I thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
with us.
Judy.
Thank you.